Hello, I'm Kirti Tarang Pande, and thank you so much for joining me here today, a place where you and I meet and discuss how yoga and its methods can help us with respect to our mental and emotional health. When I started doing this, I was little surprised by the number of people who came to me because they are hurting because the person whom they love is either married to someone else or is in a committed relationship with someone else. And this is such a sensitive issue that by the time we bring ourselves to talk about it, a monumental damage has been done to our mental and emotional health. I have a client who was in this job that she really loved and she was doing very well in. And then one day, she fell in love with a colleague of hers who was married to another woman. Things escalated in such a fashion that she not only lost her job, but she had to leave the country as well. By the time she came to me, she neither had a job nor career prospects. She did not even have a place of her own to live in. And of course, there was this broken heart. We need to ask ourselves this question, that just because there is social stigma and judgment attached to something and we do not talk about it, does that mean that thing does not exist in our society? My experience with my clients has taught me that it is more prevalent than at least I imagined it to be. Now we need to ask ourselves another question. Just because something is common and prevalent in our society, does it make it right? Today, this is what we are going to investigate. If we are in love with someone who's already married to someone else, what yoga says about it, and does yoga offer us any tool that can benefit our mental and emotional health in such a situation? Let's find out. Yoga does not have a predetermined set of right or wrong behavior. Yoga does not dictate how human heart and human potential should unfold. Instead, it provides us a framework that takes us to our highest possible self and urges us not to slip into the misery. So, the questions that we are having in our heart right now: does this person really love me? Do we even have a future together? Why is this person committed to someone else? These feelings that I am having in my heart. Yoga says these are not the questions that we should be asking. Instead, we should inquire that are these emotions taking me towards enlightenment or entanglement? To answer this question, yoga presents another concept: consciousness and compulsion. Anything that is done consciously will take us towards our highest self, and compulsive actions will throw us in misery. We do not direct the course of our consciousness. Our consciousness decides the course of our flowing. We just need to ensure that we are flowing consciously and we are not trapped into the compulsions of our behavior. How do we know that these feelings are conscious unfolding of our highest potential, or we are trapped in the cagings of our compulsion? This brings us to point number 3, gunas. Yoga says we are a blend of 3 gunas: tamas, rajas, and sattva. Tamas is compulsive inertia, while rajas is compulsive action. If you are not acting on your feelings because we have transcended them, but because we have these notions of right doing and wrong doing, then our compulsive morality is stomping on our joy. Yoga says that we are not to become these sad, renunciate, frustrated ciphers of repression. This compulsive repression will not make us ethical, it makes us a hypocrite. Then what? Shall we act on it? Is this what we are supposed to do? Yoga says no. If our actions is compulsive, then no. Yoga says the hope of feeling more alive and fear of being miserable in the absence of our beloved should not be our reason of being with someone. This is again a bind of compulsion that cannot bring us sustainable happiness. It will eventually lead to sufferings. Our actions should be the essence of our highest self and not accidents of our compulsion. If compulsive inaction and action both are wrong, then what is our option then? Narad Bhakti Sutra explains it with the example of sattva. This sattva in Narad Bhakti Sutra is highlighted using the example of gopis and Ras Leela. It says what made Ras Leela such a spiritual act that even Shiva came down to participate was the love of gopis and not the presence of Krishna. In the absence of that love, even Ras is perverse. So what was that love so magnificent to experience which even Adi Yogi himself came on earth? If you look at the pictures, in depiction of Ras Leela, most pictures show one Krishna dancing with each gopi. In reality, Krishna didn't split into clones, but this is a visual representation that love of gopis was free from the compulsion that Krishna should dance with them. Whomsoever Krishna danced with, each gopi felt the same gratification. It did not stem from fear of losing Krishna or hope of being with him. Ras was a dance of the ecstasy of the access of love that flowed from the heart of the gopis. Ask yourself right now, is this feeling that you're having for the married person, is it like the love of the gopis? We need to figure out in our heart that what we are feeling, is it like the love of the gopis? Is my heart in a state of continuous joy that is independent of what my beloved is doing? If this is the case, then you have nothing to worry, because just like Gopi, your love is enough. You don't desire anything in return. But instead of enlightenment, if you have entanglement, then it is not love, but an illusion of it. So this is an illusion, but it does not mean that you cannot have love. Yoga says, do not look for love outside, but inward. Pluck out the weeds that are obstructing love from blossoming in our life. Yoga says, our ego is that weed, because it's from the ruins of our ego that the love that we are looking will blossom. Now the question is, how to measure our ego and transcend it? The answer is given in the yogic concept of paripeksha. Paripeksha means bringing things into our awareness. This is a word that Patanjali uses in Yoga Sutram. I once worked in an office where to save wastage of food, they had a sign, don't waste food, in the canteen. It never worked. Couple of months later, they changed the sign with, yesterday this much of food was wasted which could have fed these many children. And suddenly, people stopped wasting food because they believed that leftover can feed children. Therefore, we can measure and transcend our egoism by being aware of its activities. Love will blossom when the ego is gone. Now, how to do this? How to measure and transcend our ego? The most user-friendly way to do this is, in a conversation, just check how many times you're talking about me and mine in a compulsive way, not in a meaningful way. For example, when I was newly married, I would get terribly bored in my husband's official parties because men will make a circle and talk shop, and women will make a circle and complain about their husbands. I had no complaints, so I sat in a corner, get bored, and sulked. Later on, I investigated why I had this need to join that conversation with some experiences of my own. We all do that. We all do that. If somebody is talking about their car, we are not listening to their story. We are looking for an excuse to talk about our car. If somebody is talking about a baby, we are looking for a window where we can bring our baby. If somebody is talking about a pet, we are looking for a window to bring our pet. Now, even if their pet was a cat and our pet was a dog. I remember this one time, this lady was talking about her baby, and I kept interrupting her by drawing comparisons of her baby with my pet, who's a dog. Those unnecessary comparisons were my compulsive behavior. This is something that we need to check. How many times in a conversation we talk about ourselves or our things simply because of a compulsion that we feel and not because they're adding something meaningful to that conversation. Once we are aware of this, once we start checking this, we can check our ego. And when the egoism will fade away, the love that we are looking for will blossom in our life. And in the end, thank you for watching this video. Please leave a comment about how much you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to the channel because I would love to stay in touch with you, and as an act of kindness, like and share. Thank you.